Hi everyone, and welcome back to Creative Chelsea. Today I'd like to share with you this beautiful Valentine's or wedding card that I have made using the beautiful Bouquet stamp set along with its coordinating dies. And then I'd like to show you how you could turn this into a home decor piece. So we're using the exact same images and layouts, and we're just turning it into something that we can display in our home. We're going to start with the background, and we've got two stitched labels that we've cut out and layered. And we're going to start with a gold foil sheet, and we're using the largest die from the stitched nested label dies. And then we're using Pool Party, and we're going to cut out the next size. So that's just one size smaller. And then we're going to be using a heart-shaped die, and we'll be cutting that from black cardstock. So I'm going to go ahead and take these things to the Big Shot. All right, so I've gone ahead and cut those out at the Big Shot. So next we're going to stamp our greetings, and I'm going to use Versamark and white embossing powder. And I like to use the embossing powder with the black cardstock so that we can get a really nice clean image. And to remove the static from the paper, I use a dryer sheet. I'm just going to rub that all over. Get my greeting, and I'm going to use Love Isn't in the Falling. And then we're also using the second part, which is It's in the Staying There. And I think this is a really great greeting for Valentine's as well as for an anniversary or a wedding card. So this is a really versatile card. So I've got both those greetings here on my clear block, and I'm going to start by inking up the first one. So Love Isn't in the Falling, and then that just gets placed here at the top left of my heart. Nice good image. And then I'm putting that in some clear, or not clear, excuse me, white embossing powder. And you can see how that dryer sheet does a really good job of keeping the powder only to the stamped image. Then get your heat tool and heat that up until it gets shiny. All right, so we've got that one done. And then the next one is the second part, and we're doing that on a 5/8 inch strip by 2 1/4 inch. So do the same thing. Use a dryer sheet and get the second part. So the second saying says, It's in the Staying There. And that is going to barely fit in that space. And then get some white embossing powder on there. And tap it off and just do one more coat. Okay, and then heat that with your tool. Okay, so we've done that one. Okay, the next step would be to stamp our images. And we're going to be using Lovely Lipstick, Shaded Spruce, and Daffodil Delight to stamp 2 flowers and a couple leaves. So these images have, let me show you, they've got this little indent up here at the top, and that's actually going to tell you which way to put your dies, so when you're cutting them out. So whenever I stamp images that have that kind of shape at the top, I always put that shape at the top so that I can remember which direction those dies go to that lines up easier. So this larger flower I'm stamping in Lovely Lipstick. Then I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to do the next flower in the Daffodil Delight. And again, that little indent at the top. And then I've got these little leaves, and I'm going to do 2 of these like that. All right, so now our stamping is done, and the next step is to cut these images out with the dies. And these dies are really fun because not only does it have the cutouts for the images, but it has some solid shapes as well. So this one will go here, and I'm just going to get a little tape. Whenever I use tape with my Big Shot, I always want to make sure that it is on the outside of my die and not covering any of the stamped image. So this is the one for the first, and you'll see that it's a little bit large and it's covering over that one. So I'm just going to hold that off and do it another time. And then this one is for the leaf. So we'll put a little piece of tape on that, and that tape is just keeping it from moving. I do have a magnetic platform, but these images are just kind of small, and so they kind of will skip around a little bit. Now we're also going to be cutting from some scrap paper, some of these more solid images. So I've got 2 little sprigs of leaves or something right there in Pear Pizzazz, and then this little grouping of flowers in Calypso Coral. All right, so I've got that paper, and we're just going to get those dies and cut them out. So this one I'll cut out twice, and this one I'm going to cut once at the Big Shot. So I'm going to go ahead and take these things to the Big Shot and cut them out. All right, so I've gone ahead and cut those out, and now I'm going to assemble this element together. So let's start with the flowers and the heart. I began by adding a little bit of snail to the back of the Lovely Lipstick heart, and then just placing these little sprigs behind it. And you can have one be a little taller than the other if you like. And then flip it over, and you can just trim those off or rip them. So then that is the first element. Then we've got the yellow flower, and we're going to do the same thing. Just put a little snail on the back, and then add the stamped green leaves, like so. And that goes down here at the bottom. And then we're going to take this grouping of small flowers and just cut it in half. And that's going to go, one is going at the top and the other is going at the bottom of our greeting. So for our greeting, you're going to take a pair of snips, and you're snipping in the middle and then going from the edge to that top to create a flag shape at each end. Like that. Then we're adding a piece of the Glimmer paper in gold behind it, and that's just going to help it stand out. So you can use liquid glue or some snail. And the Glimmer paper is a 1/2 inch by 2.5 inches. So it's just going to stick out at the ends. So that's how that's going to lay down. So let's go ahead and put these pieces together. So just add some extra adhesive to the flowers and the leaves. I'm then going to add the greeting. And what I'm looking for is I want the greeting that's on the heart to be running the same direction as this greeting. So I want them to be parallel. And then we're going to just slide these guys underneath. Oops. Like that. So this glimmer paper is sometimes hard to adhere on, so I'm going to get some liquid glue to add that. So I'm just going to add a little bit of that and put that down. All right, so that element is all put together. So we're going to, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add some of this crinkled seam binding ribbon in Whisper White behind our heart. So just flip it over and add some adhesive in the center of your heart, and then cut a piece of the crinkled ribbon that's about 16 inches. And just place it down, and then you're just going to kind of go back and forth, just so it kind of peeks out behind that heart. Okay, like that. This one got stuck there. All right, so the next thing would be to add, let's layer the 2 stitch nested label together. So just add some adhesive to the pool party, and these are going to go on at an angle. So they are not going to be placed at the same, on the same level. And then this gets added with some dimensionals. So just go ahead and place those around. And then this, so it's kind of all at an angle, but we want our heart to be kind of level. So I want this piece of the ribbon keeps getting stuck, so that one needs to come out just a little bit. There we go. Okay. So now is the part to decide if you want to have it be a card or to have it be a decor piece. So if you're going to do it as a decor piece, you're just going to put it on a piece of cardstock or designer series paper that fits your frame. So this frame I got from IKEA, and it is a 5x7 frame, but then it has a mat that brings it down to 4x6. And so this is a really great size if you're using a 12x12 piece of paper like designer series paper, which is what I'm using. If you want it for a card, then you're just going to cut it down to your 4 inches by 5¼ inch and then mat it to your card base. And my card base that I've used is Crumb Cake. So the designer series paper that I'm using is a celebration item for, and you can get it between January through March of 2020. And you can get it with a $50 order. So you get this paper for free with the $50 order. And it's called Golden Honey Specialty Designer Series paper. And one side has these beautiful black and white designs. So we've got, this is the one I'm using for the project, and it's just like a checked, pattern. And then you've got some florals that are large and small, then kind of this honeycomb shape, octagon looking, then bees with beehives, and then this really fun striped black and white. But the reason it's called specialty is because on the other side, you've got some beautiful gold accents with that paper. So this is a really fun one and really easy to get with just a $50 order. So I've used this pattern for my project, and this is cut to 4 by 6 inches. And so it would be for my home decor piece. And so if I was to be putting this together, I would just add that to my 4 by 6 piece and then put it in the frame for this project. And then if I was making it into a card, then I would cut it down and add it to my card base. And this paper I used, it's a different paper. This is the gold pattern from the same set. So let me show you what that one looks like. So that is this one from that same packet of paper. And on the other side, it has these larger flower pattern. So I really hoped that you enjoyed watching this video today and learning how to take a card and turning it into a home decor piece. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, like, and share. Visit creativechelsea.com for a free tutorial of this project and to purchase the supplies needed. Have a creative day. Bye.